Matt Gray, a fantastic draw at Macclesfield on Saturday, and I suppose it made that long coach journey worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. It was obviously a pleasing result, and to continue to run of 5 games unbeaten made the journey home a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and confidence must be really high at the moment on that 5-game unbeaten run.
Yes, confidence is growing and growing. Confidence only grows when you win games, and it's pretty well documented. We don't. Previous to that, we played 4 teams in the bottom half, and although they're tough games because they're teams scrapping for their lives, they are easier games because the league table tells you that. So we did well to come through those 4 games, and Macclesfield is well documented was going to be our sort of first test against the team in the top half, and we managed to come through that with a solid 0-0 comfortable clean sheet, and now we move on to tomorrow night.
And I said it to Chris on Saturday, it must be really pleasing when you see the game plan that you've worked on all week pay dividends on match day.
Yeah, I think it's important. You have maybe a couple of different ways you need to play. There's certainly a way you need to try and play at home and be a little bit more attacking and try and create chances and stuff. And when you go to places like Macclesfield, where you're going to come under spells of pressure, and you do need to make sure that you're well organised and hard to beat, and you try and limit as many chances to them as possible. And the setup and the organisation, both with the ball and without the ball, is very important. And the work we did leading up to that was obviously proved dividends.
And Halifax tomorrow night, preparation was done about a month ago, but they were in the middle of a 4-game winning run then. Now they're 3 games without a win. Have you had to change anything? Is there anything that you've learned in between?
No, not particularly. I've watched them several times. We've come across Halifax quite a few times in the last few years, and obviously had tough games against them. Whether they've won 3 or lost 3, they're a difficult team to play against, and they are a team who've obviously had a good cup run. So they're now catching up with games. They've got games in hand. They're looking to try and have a late push for the playoffs. So they're looking at this as an important game against us, and I'm sure it'll be a tough game no matter what the recent run is that they've been on.
And such has been their consistency that 3 games without a win is something of a crisis for them, I suppose. But
yeah.
Their league position is built largely on their home form. Away, they're less impressive, but as you say, they've still got lots of quality throughout the team.
Yeah, and even though they haven't won in 3, they haven't been letting goals. I think it's 2-0 draws and a 1-0 defeat. So it's still been very, very tight games. It just looks like they've maybe just dried up a little bit on their goals, and they'll obviously be looking to turn that around. And as I say, trying to finish strong to try and give themselves the best player push they possibly can.
But here at home, we're looking to re-establish Fortress Wreck, as people call it. I suppose, as I said, confidence is high, and you've got to be confident against anyone here now.
Yeah, well, especially everyone keeps saying the run that we're on, and it's nice to be back home, and the lads are confident, and it's another game. The games are coming thick and fast, which is good when you're doing well. You can't wait for the next game, so we're looking forward to it and try and continue the run.
And with yourself and Chris coming in on this caretaker role, has your role changed under Chris? Now it's a 2-man team rather than with yourself working with Andy and Terry?
Has my role changed? I'd say, I'm doing a lot more coaching now. Obviously under Andy Scott and Terry Bullivant, it would be shared out on the training ground between the 3 of us really, but I'm taking all the training obviously because Chris needs to train and be involved as a player, because him moving into centre half and then recent performances put in have been absolutely brilliant. So I've been doing a lot more training, hopefully not getting sick and tired of my voice, but I'd say that's probably the biggest thing is my coaching role has just gone on. As I say, I'm taking everything in training, and then we're just working, just the 2 of us on the preparation and organising the team off the training field and preparing for each game together. So we've been watching a lot of games, and no, it's changed slightly, but I'm used to my role.
Yeah. And on match days, clearly when Chris is out there concentrating on his own game, are there methods of communication, or is the match day kind of the 90 minutes down to you?
Again, I think I've got to try and take as much things off Chris as I possibly can on a match day, because he's got to concentrate first and foremost on doing his job on the pitch. So, and I can understand that being very difficult when you're trying to concentrate on your own game as well as other factors, what goes on a match day. So we obviously do have conversations throughout the week, maybe about substitutions on what the ideal situation is, but I don't think that's come to fruition yet. But because you never know what the injury situation is going to be at certain stages of the game. Plus, you don't know how the game's exactly going to pan out. You can't really, plan for every eventuality throughout the 90 minutes. So. And then again, sometimes I do get my chance if there's an injury or a break in play that I can have a quick chat with Chris, or sometimes you've got to be left on your own. But as I say, the majority of the week is all planned and prepared before the game. But on the actual 90 minutes and the actual match day off is trying to take as much pressure off Chris as I possibly can, and that's what I'm there to do as his assistant.
Yeah, because a couple of times, particularly with Andre last Tuesday, he comes on the sub and scores the goal, and that sort of thing. We have seen a couple of instances recently where substitutes have come on and made an impact.
Yeah, not that I'm particularly taking credit for that just because I'm putting them on it. You never know, you do it for some substitutions work for you and some don't work for you. I'm sure I'll get stick if they don't work, and I probably won't get credit if they do work. So it's just part and parcel of making the substitutions when you need to. And with the Andre one, he came on and scored a good goal, but I think it was a substitution that was forced upon us. We had to move Brett, who has played wide, so it wasn't anything rocket science while we brought him on, and he fortunately got in behind and scored the goal to make it comfortable 3-1 for us.
And with Chris, clearly his first managerial role, what has he brought to the role? What have you seen from him in the 6 weeks or so that he's been working alongside you?
I would say a lot from what he was anyway. He was an experienced player, he's had a great career, and from what he was and the way he was in the changing room, he's just continued that role on. So the lads all like him and they respect him and they get on well with him. So he's just continued that. He's obviously he's only caretaker manager at the moment, so he's still kept that contact with the players on a day-to-day basis. Still gets changed in the changing room. So Chris he's been honest with them, and we've been fortunate that we've won games, and that's helped us, if you like, to build the confidence within the team.
Yeah, and easy to say, this 5-game unbeaten run. Previous to that, unfortunately, it was a poor run. What have you noticed changing? Is there anything that you're doing differently, or as you say, has the games come at the right time to allow us to go on that run?
I think always when there is a change of manager, there is a freshness or a change of mentality within the group. That's natural across the whole country. But I think the run of games when we only won 1 in 12 previously was obviously a very, very bad run. But I think there was numerous games within that period that could have easily gone either way, and we maybe deserved more out of some of those games. Altrincham, we thought, here we go, so continue that run, because I didn't think we played well up there, and I didn't think we deserved to come away with not getting anything from the game. And then the next 4 games we managed to get our first one and build on that, and the momentum's carried on. So
yeah, and that momentum with Halifax tomorrow night, and then home to Southport on Saturday. Looking ahead, it's asking a lot, but 7 games unbeaten would be a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, 1 game at a time. Yeah, as I say, we're not looking too far ahead. We've managed to pull ourselves away from the bottom 4. We're still not mathematically safe, so until that day comes that we definitely are safe, then we can maybe relax a little bit. But it's an old cliche, but it is 1 game at a time. We're on to the next one tomorrow. It's very important we don't get beat. Then we're on to another tough home game against Southport. We're fighting for their lives, and a team below us again. So if we could win that, then great. But focus is on Halifax tomorrow and moving on from there.
And 50 points, I think Chris said it on Saturday, 50 points is still the target. That's you'd expect to be safe on that.
I think at the start of the season, I think I've heard many managers when they come in the office at the end of the game, they're first and foremost at the start of the season is get to 50 points, and then however many games are left after that, then they can maybe look up and concentrate from there. And we stayed up on goal difference last year with 51, obviously finishing 61 with a -10, so 51 was what we needed last year. I don't believe it'll be that many this year, but 50 seems to be the golden number, so when we get there, and we can relax a little bit and move on.
Finally, injuries, unfortunately, are a common occurrence at this time of year. The treatment room seems to be busier than the dressing room, but once again, Russ Flash is doing a sterling job.
Yeah, I think Russ especially deserves a mention. He's the hours he's been putting in to deal with the injuries that we've had and the illnesses that we've had over recent weeks unbelievable really. So he deserves a special mention because we have had a few injury problems, and we picked up another couple at the weekend, and he's got a packed treatment room now, so he comes, he's first in, he's last out, and he's working tirelessly to make sure as many players are available as possible for us.
And it is vital work, as you say. Jaden Gibbs unfortunately limped off on Saturday.
Yeah.
A couple of players coming back hopefully soon, but the squad will be stretched tomorrow night.
Yeah, it will be stretched, and it has been a tough period, as I say, with Jaden and Barks doing fitness tests before the game. And now we're sort of counting the numbers up for training this morning. There won't be many training this morning because of the knocks and niggles that they've got. So it's just again another day where the main priority is really with Russ and him doing his work, patching the squad up and getting us ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, and I suppose at this stage of the season, the core fitness is there. It is, as always, the cliche goes, rest is more important than training at times.
Yeah, it's without a doubt, and obviously having the depth in the squad to be able to do that. In recent weeks we have obviously brought in quite a few new fresh faces, and who I think have all done absolutely brilliant for us. You know, Danny East in the games he's played has done really well. He's again been a little bit unfortunate with a tendonitis problem that he's had, and Sean McGinty since he's come in has been absolutely outstanding, as well as Brian Jarvis has been unfortunately with his injuries, but has performed well in the minutes that he's had. But I think Jim Stevenson and Matt Saunders have been outstanding as well since they've come to the club. So the signings in recent weeks has obviously really helped with the results as well. But the strength and depth that we've got in the squad is helping us get through this tough period with the injuries.